You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. The US Supreme Court has ruled that states cannot exclude Donald Trump from voting ballots. The former president has thanked the court for ruling in his favor, calling the judgment a big win for America. It comes after a court in the state of Colorado ruled Trump should be disqualified from re-election as the January 6th attack on the Capitol building amounted to insurrection. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
America's highest court took up the case after Colorado ruled that Trump's name would not appear when voters cast their ballots on Super Tuesday. A court in the state said last year that the former president was constitutionally unfit to hold office again. The Colorado judges relied on the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which says a person should be barred from office if they've been involved in insurrection. And Colorado took the opinion that the January 6th Capitol attack should be classified as such. However, the 9 Supreme Court justices viewed it very differently. In a unanimous ruling, they said that states may disqualify a person from holding state office, but have no power to prevent a person holding federal office, especially the presidency. The former president reacted on social media, writing in capital letters, "Big win for America." He also spoke at his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida.
The voters can take the person out of the race very quickly, but a court shouldn't be doing that, and the Supreme Court saw that very well. And another thing that will be coming up very soon will be immunity for a president, and not immunity for me, but for any president. If a president doesn't have full immunity, you really don't have a president, because nobody that is serving in that office will have the courage to make, in many cases, what would be the right decision, or it could be the wrong decision.
He'd earlier predicted that a ruling against him would bring chaos and bedlam to the United States. Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold said the state should be able to bar oath-breaking insurrectionists from the ballot. The Supreme Court's decision is being seen as the most consequential since the 2000 election, when it essentially handed the presidency to George W. Bush by ordering the vote recount in Florida to stop, denying Al Gore. The court's judgment also overturns similar ballot bans on Trump in the states of Maine and Illinois, and on challenges in a further 14 states, which are still pending. Trump remains the likely candidate to become the Republican Party nominee to challenge Democrat Joe Biden for the White House in November's presidential election. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are expected to continue their respective marches towards the presidential nominations for the parties on Tuesday, when 15 US states and 1 territory are set to vote. So-called Super Tuesday sees the most Americans go to the polls on a single day in the presidential primary season. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
She's lost every primary contest, bar one, to rival Donald Trump. But former US Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, is still fighting to win the Republican presidential nomination.
Some people wonder why Nikki Haley would stay in all the way to Super Tuesday, even though she didn't have much of a chance. And the reason is she's looking to lay some groundwork for 2028. She's going to be around, and the 3 key ingredients to winning a primary contest in the United States are endorsements, campaign contributions in terms of fundraising, and volunteers. The longer she can stay in, the longer she can build those relationships that could potentially help her next time.
But this time, it very much looks like it's Trump's turn again.
Wow, this is a nice crowd.
The former president's expected to make a clean sweep on Super Tuesday. But analysts say that with Haley still in the race, the results could tell us more about where the battleground states in November might be.
But I think it is going to make more clear who are the people that are not satisfied with Trump and that might be more likely to not vote. And so that's going to be, those are the voters are then going to become the swing voters. Those are the voters that both Trump and Biden are going to be fighting over. But where that middle ground is always a changing landscape. And so where Haley does well is at least one way of articulating who those people are.
And US President Joe Biden will need the support of every last one of them in November as he continues to trail Trump in several national polls. But with no real challenger in his own party's primary, he's all but assured victory.
What we're really looking for in a primary election isn't whether or not Joe Biden wins by 90 or 95%. What we're really looking at is the number of people he's able to energize and get out to vote, even though there's not much to vote for.
Turnout numbers could give an indication of how enthusiastic Democrats are about their party's likely nominee. There may be less suspense than usual, but the results could offer us a glimpse of the potential strengths and weaknesses of Joe Biden and Donald Trump as they prepare for a likely rematch in November's presidential election. In Washington, Kate Fisher reporting for DD India.